All my days is about to start, you know.
Yo, YouTube. Whenever I get excited like this, just know it's been a while. It's been a real while. You get me? But we're back at it, man. Video reactions, reaction videos, whatever you want to call them. I'm here. You get me? Some GG for Junior. I will explain later. Like and subscribe, boy. Let's get to 2K followers, bro. 2K followers, like that just sounds crazy. Can't lie. But we got Louaista, of course. The rise and collapse of Maybach music group. That's Rick Ross's label. You get me? I don't know what happened to them, but we're hearing that ad lib used to get man excited back in the day. But unfortunately, it ain't the same no more. You get me? Like it just happens, man. It's sad. But let's lock in. 45 minutes, boy.
Although it might be hard to imagine today, there was a brief little window.
Literally, like that's literally what I basically said, and that's how we started. It's a mad thing, boy.
Where Rick Ross's Maybach music group was one of the biggest power brokers in hip-hop. Led by the self-proclaimed boss, he parlayed his own success into an Atlantic-backed musical empire that had a stacked roster of prospects and actively prospering talents.
Shout out to Triple C, man.
Wait, is that Wally? I don't really know who that is. I only know Miguel, obviously Rick Ross. I think that's Wally. I might be wrong if I'm wrong.
And actively prospering talents.
Shout out to Triple C, man. Spike Miles, Wale, Meek Mill,
yeah, Wally
Magazine. Yeah. Shout out to the whole team, man. Beats Pound, I see y'all. We live in Warner Brothers, Maybach Music, Takeover.
Maybach
Music. Make a lot of big moves. Finna get it cracked. Finna make some things happen. You feel me? It's going down in a major way. Boss.
For a little while, it felt like everything they released instantly turned into gold, or sometimes even platinum, with Ross suggesting that this was no accident. Instead, he insisted he had a plan to kill it, like other famed artist-owned labels beforehand, and go down in history.
It's just me being a student of the game, watching the Rockefeller brands, watching the Cash Moneys, watching the Bad Boys, of course, and just studying the game, and out of the love of the art, it just spilled over into something that was great. I couldn't tell you that at this point.
But the way Rick Ross talks, bro, it's just so epic. Like, it's so amazing. He's so well articulated and well spoken, bro. Like, I don't know, man. Like, he's such a good businessman. He's got that I'm gonna convince you type business voice. You get me? He's got a convincing tone. Word.
2 years ago, I could tell you that we would be here, but I knew that was the desire. The love I had for the art and the game and the rhymes, the beats. And I think that's what really garnered my consistency.
But as time goes on, the once mighty label has wilted in line with the commercial decline of its leader, to the point that, frankly...
That's real. It's happening to the whole of hip-hop in general, bro. Like, all the greats are just crashing down, bro. Like, I don't even know, bro. Like, what's genuinely happened, bro? Like, not even just in hip-hop, different industries, just the world in general. Like, things ain't getting better, great things are getting worse. Like, blood. Like, no, like, sometimes you just have to sit back and just think to yourself, bro. It's peak.
People aren't checking for it anymore. And now, those days where the label seemed like it had the capacity to make kings are a distant memory, as the men who were once part of the crew almost unanimously flounder in the modern rap game. And these days, some of them are pointing the finger at Rose himself.
I'm the artist here with a hit record. If you's a boss, be a fucking boss. If you's a fucking label, be a fucking label. Damn. I'm an artist. I'm being a fucking artist. What else you want from me, my nigga?
It's your boy Louaista, and this is the crazy downfall of Maybach music. When you're talking about the era, this tag was everywhere.
Maybach music.
Then it truly begins following the release of Rick Ross's #1 selling album, Deeper Than Rap. At this stage, Ross was officially one of the most lucrative artists in the game, racking up a #1 album, and the first to be released in a three-way split between Slip and Slide, Def Jam, and his newly minted imprint Maybach Music. At this stage, he had enough clout to begin to sign artists like Triple C's, otherwise known as the Carol City Cartel, featuring Gunplay, Torch, and Young Breed, as well as R&B singer Mass Pike Miles. Then he dropped Teflon Don, an album which once again reiterated why he was at the top, as it only missed out on the top spot to Eminem's Recovery. At this stage, Rose had enough leverage to try and find the deal that worked for him. And after a few years of negotiations, he did just that when he landed a new home with Warner Bros. After a brief moment where it looked like Birdman was interested, Rose immediately began building the hype around this new era for his imprint.
Shout out to DJ Envy playing that Ricky Rose Mill Perfections. We on the way down to Warner Brothers Records. You know, this our first time going in there. You know what I'm saying? We finna go in there and just Operation Maybach takeover, baby. Going over marketing, going over radio, going over all the different pages, all the different departments. And it's feeling real good, man.
Bro, I'm struggling to hear this guy. His music's too loud.
So stay tuned. This is the Maybach Warner Brothers takeover. It's the biggest outlet of urban music to the world.
Soon, the talent scouting was on, and alongside Triple C's, Mass Pike, Reggae Artists Magazine, and a new signing in the ATL's bill, Rose began looking at some major prospects. At this point, he famously missed out on inking a deal with Nipsey Hussle, who ultimately chose to stay independent to prevent his team for not getting their rightful credit for putting him on the map.
Yeah, I heard you was about to sign with them. Was it true?
We was talking. I was talking to Rose, at a time earlier, and just gave me some game, and it was, just helped me with my situation when I was trying to figure out where I was gonna go indie or where I was gonna go.
I love Nipsey Hussle's voice, bro. Like, it's so unique. Like, there's just something else when you hear it. You get me? I ain't glazing.
He was giving me advice, offered the opportunity, you know what I'm saying? Which was like, to me, to do records with me and to work with me, that was the opportunity, and have a relationship with me.
But by the time he grabbed Wale and Meek Mill, it looked like there was a new superpower in the game.
Ross, you're doing something real special with these guys right here, man. Tell us about the Maybach music.
I love this guy,
right
man.
now. What's going on?
Cool
man, this the new front line of Maybach Music, and it's all about making the best music in the game. And I really recruited some of the artists that I felt was had the most potential, that was ready for this kind of situation. So, Wale, Pill, Meek Mill, I feel it's the future. Y'all make some noise.
Yeah.
And for a little while, they truly would be, with MMG racking up 7 #1 albums over its history, with most of them all coming from the same 5-year stretch where they were riding high. So now that we've got the parameters of their dominance in place, let's break it down case by case to understand how it all slipped out of their grasp. Let's start with Wale. Among the best rappers to come out of the DMV, the MC's deal with MMG came after several misfires. Dropped from Interscope after his debut album, Attention Deficit shifted just to 28,000 units. It was a chance meeting in a strip club that put Ross and Wale in each other's orbits. Following a friendship being struck up, a deal came next. And initially, Wale felt very contented in his new setup alongside the boss.
It happened. That's God work, to me, I think, because he knew where my mind was, my heart was, and we just kept bumping into each other like King of Diamonds. Yep, it all started there.
That's God right there.
We just believe in what I'm doing. Music is certainly going in another direction now, black music as a whole. And he understands, like, this dude right here got something to say, and I'm going to let him say it the way he want to say it, rather than changing it a couple times before it comes to the masses. So I can respect that, and he respect what I do.
And to begin with, he had no reason not to. His album on Maybach, 2011's Ambition, massively improved on his previous chart performance. Before the follow-ups The Gifted and his Seinfeld-inspired The Album About Nothing both landed at #1. It wasn't just Wale that was pleased either. As with Wale routinely landing big projects, Ross appeared to be thrilled with how it was going.
Back to some of the artists that you've, put on, like Wale and Meek Mill, what was it that you saw in them that made you say, that's somebody I want to work with?
First and foremost, it got to be the pen, it got to be the talent. Whatever I heard, I had to respect it to even like it. And both of those names, when it come to Wallace, his wordplay, and he's a real poetic genius, ambition, gifted.
Since the day that he first emerged, Wale has always had both a formidable pen and the ability to write a catchy hook as well. So while his skill was never in question, his time at MMG would soon be tainted when his renown among the public began to take a downturn. Because, to put it mildly, Wale's tendency to act with emotion first and ask questions later would be his undoing in an industry where playing it cool is as important as your music. To begin with, there was his chaotic 2013 phone call that he had with a Complex writer over his album being absent from their list of the best records of the year.
So you think it's responsible, or you think y'all being a responsible publication continuously to fucking like just do like all that petty shit? Like at this point, you know it's got to be personal. And I don't want to, if you telling me it's not personal, it's like a bull-faced lie.
Get your ego out the way, bro. Like, oh. Jesus, bro. I hate seeing people care about opinions so much. Like, obviously, a list like that is going to be seen by bare people, and that's where, like, more opinions are going to come from. But, like, it was still a human being that, or human beings that decided who's going to make this list. And it was a human being that published the article. So it's like, bro, if your album isn't there and you don't like it, just prove them wrong. Focus on that. Like, let the hate / criticism drive you. Get me? You don't take it to heart and start like going on the internet and be like, oh, so you know you're gonna add my album. Bro, let the people do that. Your fans, hip hop fans, let the people do that, bro. When it's you bro, get your ego out the way. And now apparently you build a staff member and threaten them. Broski and oh my, like, bro, I hate seeing stuff like this. Just because you were added to a flipping list it doesn't make you less of a human being, bro. If the people say you're hard, like it's them listening to the music at the end of the day. Word. And you got your own fan base. Word. So you're doing a lot right. Word. How many #1 albums? Word. Like, bro, Santa MMG. Word. Lord.
Right. To be omitted from every type of list that I do, or be at the bottom of it, or
come on,
every type of way that y'all can omit me, y'all will. So I just need to know, like,
bro, if it's really getting to you like that, so stop paying attention to it. You shouldn't even be paying attention to it, regardless. Like, how do you even know you're always either not in the list or at the bottom? Like, come on, man.
If anybody's ready to keep it on,
like I'm just talking to anyone in general. Like if what you do, you know what I'm saying, comes with opinions and ratings and rankings like this, just don't let it get to you, bro. Unless you're just gonna. And this is kind of an example, isn't it? So
with me and be like,
I ain't lying, so I ain't flying.
You might have rubbed somebody wrong years ago, in some way or fashion, because I've had no interaction with the company in years. So to be every time be omitted from everything that y'all do, it's got to be something.
Oh, this guy's voice is
changed.
changed.
I'm trying to find out if you're going to be the person that tells me that, or are you just going to give me the song
changed
and name.
Again.
In the aftermath of that cringe-inducing incident, one of Ross's biggest homies stepped in to let him know that this wasn't the way to ensure a long, healthy career.
That's the very first thing Jay told me. He said, you just validated them. You just made them.
The list is more important now than ever was.
He said, you let your ego do it, and now you just made that list important. I had to take, everybody brought it to me that day. Everybody brought, I'm talking about Jay, Tata, everybody top to bottom. Q-Tip called me, Primo, you know what I'm saying? So I get like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like when you do something bad in school and it's like, you come back from suspension and everybody's like, what was you thinking?
Then as things continued to spiral.
Fair enough, at least he knew he was wrong. At least there were people, there were obviously going to be people to tell him he was wrong. At least he understood that. He listened, didn't it? You know what I mean? And he's accountable, he's talking about it. That's Ovi.
He appeared on interview platforms, literally rallying against the hate.
So who are these people? Who are they?
I mean, I see
on the internet. An egg said that. You see people that think Donald Trump is doing a good job on Twitter too.
Am I looking at the wrong audience?
I just don't understand where you're looking. If you're looking,
where are you looking?
If you're looking for something bad, you're gonna find it. You looking for hate on Wale, you're gonna find it.
And And as we all know, that's
still
the worst thing that you could possibly do, unless you want to receive a whole lot more of it. Wale comes off as a strong, independent woman who doesn't need a man. Wale is the type of dude to hang around in high school after graduating. Even though some people had weathered the cringe,
how can people get creative like this, bro? What's an independent woman? Oh my days.
His stock had taken a downturn by the time he dropped Shine in 2017, with the record peaking at number 16. Looking to regain control, he set up his own label every blue moon, while still claiming that MMG would still play a role in his career. The Wale sweepstakes started the second I said farewell to my last situation. Wale told DJ Booth via a text at the time. After several offers, I decided to go to Warner Bros. Records. I had to be needed, not wanted. I had to have a partner. No longer could I have a boss. That is what every blue moon needed. This is what Wale needed. This is what my daughter, Zyla, needed, Wale added. I'm finally an executive, a real exec. Watch it all unfold. Once I get myself settled in, I'm changing the industry the way I see fit, and working vigorously to create, sign, and promote dope shit. I'm rich, biatch. Following his final contribution to the Maybach discography, Foldering 2, peaking even lower than his debut album Attention Deficit did back in the day, Wale subtly left around 2023 and is now signed to Def Jam. At one stage, this would have been a major loss to Maybach, but these days, Ross probably barely noticed after Wale allowed his behavior away from the mic to overshadow his talent and nuke his commercial value. But in a strange coincidence, he wasn't the only one of MMG's former leading stars to do this. When Meek Mill first signed to MMG, it came at a time when the stars all started to align for the Philly Spitter after a tough few years.
You were one of the XXL's freshmen this year. How did you feel to get that recognition?
I felt good, you know what I'm saying? I've been working hard for a long time. I've been running these streets. I seen Terrence in the club about 1,000,000 times, you know what I'm saying? I've been performing, but I've been working for a long time, you know what I'm saying? I just feel good to be here at places like this.
I was doing a community service event in Philly, and I will never forget. They're like, you gotta bring Meek out. And it was before I even had heard your music. Yo, this dude's following in these streets was so crazy.
It's like no one.
Your movement is really big. How does it feel to now be on 106 getting that national recognition?
It feel good. It's like a dream, man. That's what I do. I chase dreams, you know what I'm saying? Try to make my dreams come true.
As for Rose, he recalled how he immediately gravitated to him, seeing something special in his innate wit and raw talent.
And of course, Meek Mill, you know, he been battle rapping on the corner, you know, since he had the nappy braids. He was 13, 14, and that's what hip hop is about. And when we met each other, I had just got on Twitter. You know, I really ain't know how to work it, and I just remember everybody was telling me, you need to meet Meek Mill, Meek Mill. I'm like, man, who is this name keep coming on my Twitter? You know, I'm just, you know, I'm new to it, you know what I mean? And I appreciate the city, because what they was telling me was, you know, Meek Mill had just came home, you know, from doing some time, and he came up to the radio. Shout out to Cosmic Kev, and, you know, we linked up, and he asked me for a verse. You know, at the time, I'm doing verses easy for 100K, but I just felt this energy. He just came home. I said, hey, give me your contact. Give me a week or so, and I'm gonna do it for you. And I hit him a week later, sent it to him. You know, everything been authentic, and most definitely, like I said, always go back to the product. It's always based on the product, and from there, you could take it to whatever heights you want to.
Initially, it seemed like he was correct to have all that belief. Meek's debut album, Dreams and Nightmares, debuted at number 2 on the charts and conjured up some real street classics that endure to this day. Looking to capitalize, Meek quickly followed this up with another installment of his Dream Chasers mixtape series, before dropping his sophomore album, Dreams Worth More Than Money, in June of 2015. But from that very moment that it dropped in June, it suddenly followed with a whole array of drama. For a start, there was the regularly rehashed Drake drama, where after calling Drake out for apparently using ghostwriters on their collab Rico, they engaged in a war of words over diss tracks that basically everyone felt that he was schooled in. Among them was his own label mate, Wale, who really didn't spare his feelings.
I honestly think, you know, he brought like a pencil to a gunfight. He didn't even bring a knife, a pencil, a piece of paper. Try to paper cut him to death. Like, you can't compete with somebody that got them type of relationship.
This prompted one of the first signs of real internal strife between the label, with Meek suggesting that he and the DMV rapper were only associated by a record company and nothing more. Wale just ain't gonna tweet a thing about my album. He's been hating me for a long time now. Don't even text me, cornball. On Back to Back and Charged Up, Meek pretty much got bodied. and was now facing the indignity of getting outdone in front of the entire world.
And of course they use this photo. Oh my god, man. Bro, I love the internet, bro.
By Jimmy in the wheelchair from Degrassi. To add insult to injury, Drizzy then detailed on Summer 16 that one night when they were both in the Four Seasons, Meek and his then girlfriend Nicki Minaj had the room below his suite. So he did what any petty man would do. He played back-to-back over and over again, with apparent street sweeper Meek refusing to do anything to stop him. From this point on, it's literally no exaggeration.
That's mind games. That's mind games, especially if me didn't know that was Drake the whole time. He was 100% playing that full blast, bro. That's mind games. That's one thing about Drake, boy. He petty.
To say that Meek's career was never the same again. When Dreams Worth More Than Money debuted at number 1 with over 246,000 sales, the next two projects that followed barely broke the 100K line. And from there, the spiral has only gotten worse, including the Philly MC being punked by known snitch Tekashi 6ix9ine.
You take, and you with police, and you with police. Look, that was a cop. That was a cop.
Suddenly, he went from having a heavy loss to an all-time great going against him, to a truly embarrassing defeat that he should have never withstood. Meek became an L after this. Much like Wale, Meek then became incredibly conscious of what other people thought of him, regularly giving the public the opportunity to dunk on him over his desire to ask for respect, rather than receive it by virtue of his actions. Who thinks I fell off and don't really think I got it with rapping anymore? I for real need answers, and tell the truth because I'm not taking it personal. I need to hear how people think before I do what I do. A social experiment. Answer if you're a supporter of mine. And at a certain point, even his own supporters wanted him to take a step back.
Okay, so Meek Mill disabled his Instagram because he's tired of people capping. You think people would cap less if the likes and follows didn't show up on Instagram?
People get upset. When you're a public figure, you get upset because of the scrutiny. But did you not realize that that's part of the invisible contract that you sign when you become a public figure? So whether you're on Instagram or whether you're in, you know,
I mean, to be fair, some people don't really mean to. They just do what they love doing and what they've always loved doing, and then it just makes them famous, innit? So some people, they don't really mean, like, it's like they weren't working to become famous. They were just, like, for instance, Meek Mill was just rapping, but he was just on the street battle rapping because he loved it, he had a passion, and he was cold. So it's like the intention wasn't to become famous. So that's why I can understand that some people don't know how to handle being on the net, bare eyes on you in the public. You get me? So yeah, people need to understand that as well. Why am I changing it now?
Or whether you're on, you know, some morning coffee show, as long as you're in the public eye, people are going to put you on a higher pedestal, which means the scrutiny is even higher. So at the end of the day, the old saying goes, if you don't have haters, you're not doing anything, right? And if you're not doing anything, you don't have haters, and then you get upset because you don't have haters, because suddenly you feel like you're not doing anything. So I think my long form answer is, why the fuck does it even matter?
As he's continued.
Check out how this app helped me buy whatever I want in my favorite game. Unlimited money makes it so you can get what you want from the game.
To drop projects. Each one of them has performed worse in correlation with the sheer number of public scandals he's gotten himself involved in. Most recently, his ties to the likes of Michael Rubin and Diddy.
This one is the worst because of his image as a rapper. You get
me? Haven't helped others.
Meek rapping about Amiris, and 80 bands. He's playing tennis with some white guy, and all of a sudden I see this.
You're doing buddy hops, Meek, because you got your ass beat in tennis.
Look how they talking to him. I don't even think any black rapper could talk to Meek like this. Not saying nothing wrong, just interesting.
Still, it appears that he has illusions of grandeur, as when he revealed that he charges $250K for a feature, all people did was wonder how this was still possible in the modern era. We can name 1,000 better ways to spend $250K other than a Meek Mill verse.
But why are people like this, bro? Oh my days. How people like this? It's just violate, fam. Are just so creative with it. Like, it's just at the point where you just can't even respond to that, bro. You just have to applaud it, man. Fair enough.
Every turn, he keeps making things worse. Recently, revealing that he was so desperate for momentum that he implied he was still on the same level of buzz as David, a singer which you probably know was accused of killing a child that he was dating. And
I need his promo for my I need his promo for my album rollout. Who do I call? Transfer Texas Holmes, some of his name. Is this before or after everything came out? Like this post right here.
He said that in the midst of the story breaking.
Oh,
at
never mind.
Things are just getting plain separate, with Meek recently posting that he was seeking more money and claiming that he was blackballed if he couldn't acquire it. I need 5 M's in funding for a book, album, and a short film, he wrote at the time. These label deals are not looking fair at all. They ruined the game basically, but I can reboot the whole thing. Why I can't get the same attention as the tech investment in rap? What the helly? Considering how frequently he's done this, it's fair to say that this drastic downfall can't really be assigned to Rose as his bad guidance. In truth, Meek sabotaged himself vastly more than anyone else did. However, there are members of the famed MMG roster who could have a case for being wronged by the company that was supposed to boost them to new heights. Beloved in underground circles since his first mixtape dropped with its huge single Trap Goin' Ham, ATL Spitter Pill appeared in a stacked freshman class alongside the likes of
look at this though. Nipsey, J. Cole, Wiz Khalifa. I forgot his name. Yeah, that's all I recognize.
Nipsey Hussle, Freddie Gibbs, J. Cole, and J-Rock, among others, before he was even signed. So it was no surprise that labels came knocking. And one of the men who believed in the MC's potential was Rose. Pill, he's been representing in the A-Town forever, just being a deep thinker and a street lyricist at the same time. Rick Ross said after bringing his Maybach music group fold in spring of 2011. So that was something that I was just vibing and attracted to. As for Pill, he felt like Rose could take him to the next level.
It's basically a testimony for me because I come from the dirt. I come from the tracks of ATL, and for Ross to hit me up and want me to vibe with him because he's an international artist, you know what I mean? So you learn from him, you be a sponge when you're around him because he already doing what you want to do. So I just make sure I be a sponge whenever I'm in the studio, whenever we doing videos, I make sure I'm there and I'm absorbing it and I'm soaking it up so I can go forward, you feel me?
Among the things that he wanted was access to Ricky's massive contact book, openly admitting that he had aspirations of collaborating with some of the biggest names in the game.
I mean, I've worked with a lot of people, but somebody like Drake or something, man, he got the hooks down, he got the flow down, you know?
Across MMG's first collaborative project, Self-Made, Pill was everywhere and really seemed integral to the label. But in January of 2012, he shook the organization when he announced he was not only leaving, but he and Ross revealed that he was never really on the roster to begin with. Pill's situation was a special situation, because he was already signed to Warner before I did my label deal at Warner. So when I did do my deal, it was a business opportunity that was presented where Pill could run with the team for a year, Ross confirmed. I took that opportunity. That year ran its course, and it was pretty much up to Warner what decisions they wanted to make with Pill as an artist after that point. I think they made it. I ain't got nothing against none of them. Nobody. It's just the situation don't work, Pill said upon leaving. It's cool with us. I don't got nothing against Ross either. He made sure he reached out to me and called me and clarified, Ross said. He expressed that in no way was he disrespecting the team or the brand, because it's a great opportunity and a great look. Later down the line, Pill would shed light on how it all worked out, claiming that his contractual obligations were filled.
How it all worked out. 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 How it all... that's enough.
Due to how prevalent he was on that first MMG group project, in the mixtape that followed.
If you want to keep it all the way a brick, that MMG Self-Made was my album.
Oh, really?
They let me free from the label because of that. I signed for one album. And I had the most songs on that motherfucker. I had 7 records on that bitch.
That's right, you did.
And I had the only solo record on that bitch. And if you remember when the first cover of that bitch came out, it was me in the front. That constituted as my one album. So that was my solo project. But I put out the Diagnosis when I was on MMG.
Okay.
I don't know if people weren't familiar with that, but like, on the low, that was big features. Like, The motherfucking Pac-Man remix was on there with Tit, motherfucking Yo Gotti, me, Gunplay, Rose, like everybody was on that motherfucker. I had Trader Truth, Tech 9, I had everybody on that motherfucker. I had a lot of emotion, but it just, you know how that shit go.
And as time has gone on, it's been increasingly clear that he feels his career was mismanaged.
Kind of looks like
and because he began to speak out about it, Bill believes he was essentially thrown out the industry for refusing to play by the rules.
Is this the same pill?
What really went down.
Do you feel like you have been blackballed in the industry through your career?
Big facts. I'm totally like unmentioned. Adam talked about it. Side talked about it on Breath Club about how they got on. A lot of these niggas really my kids. And I mean that disrespectfully. With every order in every bang, all these are some fake pills. And I could go down the list of them niggas that were on my dick from the beginning, and they up. And look where I'm at. Still popping my shit with no rap deal anyway. But get where I'm always getting locked up, fucked over, drugged, shot at. They're like all type of shit. You know why? Cause a nigga can't stand the fact that they ain't me for real. And I don't mean you wanna be just me. You just are not yourself, my nigga. I'm being me.
Similarly, it appears that his mindset has changed when it comes to his former MMG boss too, because where they were once on good terms, he seemed to have some smoke for him during a recent public appearance.
I take full accountability for all of my mistakes. And the main ones were fucking with these fuck niggas and these lame assholes and still being around niggas that never didn't want to see me with nothing in the first place. It's my fault for ever letting y'all be a part of what I collectively gathered up with this right here and this right here. Niggas will ride your motherfucking ride partner and say they invented it and put the realm on it. Hey, I put the beat in it. Hey man, you ain't even never saw that car before I got it. So yes, it was time.
Yeah, I do hear that.
That shit took me under.
For Pill, his motion was squashed before it could ever really come to fruition, and to this day, he's never dropped an album. Now, those who witnessed the spark he had firsthand believe that this fumble from MMG and its major label bosses was a huge missed opportunity. He definitely deserved a shot. He was like Sci-Hi and Kendrick rolled in one blunt. Pill was the hardest on MMG. No matter how hard this was for Pill's fans to accept, his signing would certainly not be the only deal struck by Rose that never went down as they'd probably envisioned. When his homegrown singer Mass Pike Miles never really came to anything, Rose tried to further gain a foothold into R&B by signing an established star in Omarion. Following his time spent on Epic during his days as a solo artist and with his group B2K, Omarion was an R&B vet with a storied history of success by the time that he joined the clique. But it'd be fair to say that he hadn't really had a hot song that decade by the time he signed in 2012, and it might go some way to explain why no one was particularly enthused when he appeared at a press conference to announce his arrival.
Let's bring out the newest member, MMG. Shout out to the big homie Omarion. Let's get it.
First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Not for the
You know where I heard clapping and started clapping, bro.
It's only for this special moment in my career, but for this special day in music. Mr. Rose, it's a pleasure. And to my comrades, it's a pleasure. This whole Maybach music thing that we got going is
Maybach.
Today I become made, man. Yeah, my history is not a mystery.
So it wasn't all bad, and he immediately got to work with some appearances on the self-made projects. Then he dropped his 2014 album Sex Playlist, led by the single Post to Be, that actually went triple platinum. But to this day, it's not only the last album he released on MMG, but that single was the last time he graced the Billboard 200. And according to him, either MMG or their then parent company Atlantic didn't necessarily.
Janae Aiko is so tough, like she is so tough, like bro. In my opinion, yeah, a lot of R&B, like it's so hard for me to. I mean, there are unique voices and you can tell who is who, but like for me, yeah, like a lot of R&B artists, like it's so hard to. You get me? I mean, it actually isn't. So maybe I am just waffling, but like Janae Aiko, bro, she really got her own voice, her own range, her own sound, tone, like, you get me? Like, she's just tough, bro. I'm sorry.
When you put together Supposed to Be, did you know you had something big on your hands, or was it just just another song, let's keep going to the next one?
I knew what I had, but I don't think everyone else understood, particularly the label. You know, I didn't have no support. That song was out for 6 months before it blew up, or before it had time to age and mature and become the song that it is today.
And when he did, his press run saw him begin to open up a little in regards to what really went down. Speaking on why he left, he claimed that MMG didn't give him ample warning about the label changing from Warner Bros. To its new parent company.
I just expressed him as a businessman, you know. I need to prepare myself, you know what I'm saying, for, you know, my transitions. And, you know, respectfully, you know, if there's something going on with you in Atlantic, you know, just let me know so I can prepare myself. I was very clear with him with that. You know, Maybach Music is no longer a label, and it's, you know, I gotta go and actually do the work that was necessary for my journey to like figure out, you know, where I was. And it wasn't in a good position, you know what I'm saying? So that's really what I'm talking about. We had a conversation, you know what I'm saying? But you didn't honor that, and you didn't feel like you needed to, so.
As for Rose in particular, Omarion hinted that there was perhaps some steps that he could have taken to aid him in reaching his potential.
He could have helped more, lend more of a hand than what he was maybe, you know, portraying to, you know, be. But yeah, I appreciate the experience, man. I had so much fun over in Maybach Music and making that music at that time, and, you know, being able to create an alias, Maybach to feel a part of something that was like truly outside of my culture and outside of myself.
For Omarion, his momentum was halted by having to take this detour, but he was still pretty gracious about the whole thing. Others left without any incident at all, with French Montana being a prime example. Back in the day, French had a joint deal between MMG and Bad Boy.
Helped me out since I met him, you know what I'm saying? He just want to see people do good. You know what I'm saying?
This guy's such a meaty rapper, bro. Like, respectfully, though.
Shout to Puff, shout to everybody, you know what I'm saying? That's it. We just here, man, you know, shout to everybody.
He's a nice guy, though.
Hey. Bad Boy, know for life, man. We here. Love. July 17th, excuse my French coming out.
The way all these people will grow to regret that. Sorry. Bad Boys for... I mean, I'm saying like Bad Boys, the movie. You know what I'm saying? But they'll see something else.
You know what I'm saying? Look out for the first single. Me and my brother.
And they all live to regret that.
Drake. I'm Lil Wayne. You know it's coming out. It's called Pop That with Uncle Luke. You know what I'm saying? With all the bad bitches in it. You know what I'm saying? Back in the pool, popping it, thongs on, everything. Y'all all welcome to come. You know what I'm saying?
But the Maybach Music aspect of the deal elapsed after one record and a mixtape, with French going on to become his own boss for the most part. Since then, he's had an interesting journey in hip-hop, often defined by some cultural L's that overshadow anything he does on the music front. And if you want to learn more about that, you can check out this video later. But where French's time on MMG did nothing to slow his roll, others aren't so lucky. A talented artist who successfully managed to fuse elements of rock and hip-hop, Rocky Fresh had a lot of people looking for his signature once he emerged. But he ultimately chose MMG because he thought that signing with them over a more established entity would be a better move.
Believe it or not, I'm a super humble dude, and prior to getting these offers, you know what I'm saying, like I didn't even expect to get signed by other rappers. Like I kind of, you know, came up in the rock scene a little bit with Patrick Stump and Fallout.
Yeah, I read some about that.
And so like with that being the scene that I was kind of being geared towards, I thought that that's where, you know, everything was gonna fall in line. And so then when Ross and Diddy both hit me up in the same week, you know, and they were interested in taking meetings, it was just one of those things where I felt so blessed by it that it wasn't even like a, you know, I didn't take it as a bidding war.
It's a win-win. It's like, honor, you know? Yeah, hell yeah.
And
that's
the
an
thing
honor.
with Ross is, it was just one of those things where, you know, Diddy, he's the #1 dude on Forbes right now. He's got a label that's been going on forever. Yeah. And it's one of the things where he always gonna be a force in the industry. And also, you know, Maybach is his little brother. So it's one of those things where I just wanted to be a part of a new movement and really be a part of making history.
Although it took him out of the Diddy sphere, it's hard to say that the time on the label really benefited him, as he became one of several members on the label like Anuel, Guys, and Tidra Moses, to never get a chance to put out anything other than a mixtape when signed to a major affiliate. And sure enough, He fled as soon as he got a chance, all the while insisting that Rose wasn't the problem. It wasn't like a leave type of thing. Me and Rick Ross, we got a real good relationship. It was just a lot of things going on his side of the fence that I would rather him have the ability to explain. We always will have a really strong relationship. Even with Atlantic, I got a good relationship. Basically, I got freed up on some legal matters and I was able to go my own way. I had a mutual friend that was able to put me in touch with Benji Grinberg, founder and president of Rostrum. When we had met, I was already familiar with all the stuff he did with Wiz Khalifa and Mac Miller. When I saw what type of person he was, the fact that we both got children around the same age, it was just a lot of man-to-man stuff that we connected on. The opportunity that he had offered, it was a no-brainer situation that started around April of this year. Although he first signed to MMG in 2013, it took until 2019 for Rocky to release a studio album, and by then, the flames of hype had long since been extinguished. And for that reason, you can bet that he wished he never aligned himself in the first place. But on other occasions, rappers actually got the advance to create an album, but still felt that the situation hindered them more than anything else. Following his signing on the label, Ohio rapper Stally appeared on both volumes of Self-Made before his own debut was in the works. Where other rappers wait forever to get their shot, he was able to release his record within 2 years of signing, and it ultimately peaked at number 35 on the charts. But aside from a couple of mixtapes that didn't really leave their mark, it basically felt like he got lost in the shuffle. So it was no big shock when he left in 2017 to push forward on his own.
My goals moving into 2018 is just growing my brand, growing Stally.
In that same interview, he elaborated on the ways in which the situation just didn't work out for him. And he believed that being under another artist's control was stunting what he could achieve.
I tell people all the time, my stance with MMG is like, before MMG, I was a solo artist, you know? Like, we wasn't instant, you know?
Fair enough, man.
So it's like, and I'm still a solo artist. So that's what I'm focused on. There's no hard feelings, there was no bad blood. It's just a conscious decision to take my career in my own hands. I work better controlling everything and controlling myself. And not waiting on anyone, because that's where the frustrations come in. We tried to work it out, like what we could do to make it work, but it just was creative, you know, it wasn't making sense, so it was easy.
Today, his Maybach debut is the only studio album to his name, but he certainly lays no blame at Ross's door, and this certainly isn't uncommon. Similarly to Stally, the likes of DMV rapper Fat Trell never even got as far as dropping an album, and only released a series of mixtapes during his time on Ross's label. But even after he left, he stopped short of slandering the boss at all. In Trell's case, he even went as far as to claim that the things you think are on him are actually at the mercy of the whole infrastructure.
You gotta make the best decision for you. And sometimes like and I'm not insinuating on nothing, so let's be clear, but sometimes like the second go around, the business might not be to your liking, you know what I'm saying, or what I'm willing to offer you might not be to y'all liking, you know what I'm saying. So that's Ross still my big homie, man, you know what I'm saying. And I just want people to know that, like, when you look at these people like Ross that own a label, Kanye West, or anybody, you know, whoever own a label, you think that it's actually them calling the plays and pressing the buttons. Right. Nah, they got a full team that work under them, and he's really the face, you know what I'm saying. And like, again, I said, I ain't insinuating.
And that's important though that you said that, because a lot of people don't know that. They don't even think that. They think that, oh, it's their label, they get to make the calls, they say what's going on, and not knowing that it's people behind them that's doing all that.
It's a whole staff that really get up and dedicate themselves to, you know, you and yours, your work, your projects, whatever, your vision, your dream.
But while everyone seems eager to stay on good terms and claim that their faults were largely their own, one notable exception is making his voice heard as of late, to the point that Rose actually clapped back. Once an integral part of the Triple C's, Gunplay acquired a joint venture solo deal with Def Jam amid the buzz that he was getting on the mixtape circuit. Although, from the start, the situation had a lot of issues. At the height of Rick Ross and 50 Cent's beef, he got into a fight with G-Unit's entourage at the 2012 BET Awards.
I just knew it had to go down, you know what I'm saying? The dude Mike Knox, I think he whispered to him or said something to him, and he stepped up a little bit, he threw his little finger haymaker. That shit ain't do nothing, but when I think he hit me like right here, at the same time I'm going for 50 at his jawline right here. And that's when I felt they put me into a helicopter.
I was in a helicopter. I don't know what happened then.
Among the fact that he had a swastika tattoo that was the subject of a great deal of controversy, he also got hit with an armed robbery charge that landed him on house arrest. This all meant that he didn't get around to dropping his debut album Living Legend until 2015. And when he did, the chart position of 171 didn't really help matters. Despite emerging at a time when MMG was a Billboard powerhouse, Gunplay refused to conform and insisted that charts didn't matter.
The streets love it. Yeah. So I don't, that's all that matters to me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The streets love it. I'm getting positive feedback from the streets. I got money. I don't care about the money. I just, I want to touch people's hearts and souls, man. Stick to your ribs, like a good plate of soul food.
How you feel about hip hop right now, like in general?
I fucking hate it. It's fucking horrible. And I don't like to say the hip hop because there's no creativity. You know what I'm saying? It's everybody sounds the same. Everybody sounds like the Migos. No disrespect to the Migos, but shout out to Snoop Dogg for go ahead on and pointing that out.
But clearly, someone did want him to do numbers, because by the time he next dropped with 2017's The Plug album, he did so on the much smaller label Real Talk. Initially, Gunplay had all the love from his boss even after his career took a downturn, thanking him extensively for certain selfless actions.
My daughter was born with a rare heart defect, and everything went smooth after the operation. And Rose, I want to thank you. You gave a very generous contribution, my nigga, to my situation, dog. And my family thanks you. You know what I'm saying? My family thanks you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, my brother.
I'm gonna be honest, you my brother for life, brother.
I know.
You don't even gotta mention it.
That was not
your family is my family.
From 2018, he became a castmate on Love and Hip Hop Miami, essentially suggesting that he was happy to mostly ride on the fame he had already had and make a cushy living. But as he'd been open about during the course of his career, Gunplay had some issues with substances that he even discussed at the height of his fame. And at the time, he seemed aware of the risks. Drugs tend to give you a chemical imbalance in your shit, fuck you up, and then you just be snapping at everybody. You don't really notice it. You think the world's against you, but it's really the excessive drug use fucking up your brain. It affects a lot of things. So once you quit that, you can see clear. It just feels better. Don't get it twisted though. When I get back to Medellin, I am going to get tore down again. After a certain point, it seemed like he was getting lit more often. This led to him crashing out in recent years, including crazy domestic altercations with his wife.
Let me know.
Yeah.
So we're gonna record.
Yeah.
You throw out all my
Hit me with it. You wanna hit me with it? Okay.
Everything's done? Is everything?
Well, I had to do what you're doing. Please go ahead, right?
Think I care about charge? Did you throw out all my for me wanting to buy another bottle of Hennessy? Huh? Let me know. Let me know.
The morning after when he sobers up. Let's go get me a new TV now.
Yeah, we gotta go get a new TV. We'll be right back with the new one.
At one point, he was even arrested for pointing an AK-47 at his wife, as well as his child, spending just under 2 years on house arrest as a result. Although Gunplay didn't take accountability for that, instead blaming it all on his wife's actions and her mental health issues, even if the general public didn't buy his explanation.
This is your reality right now.
Yeah, like I was just at Fleming's Steakhouse the night of, and like a couple hours later I woke up and I was like in a cell with 2 bologna sandwiches in a jumper. I couldn't understand what just happened. You know what I'm saying? She like just flipped the switch like out of nowhere, and you know, hindsight is 20/20. When I just look at overall, I did my research, okay, and the things that she fell under were NPD. That's narcissistic personality disorder. Okay. And it's a real disorder that people don't go get diagnosed for because they don't feel that nothing's wrong. They live in their own bubble, their own reality. They have their own delusions, and they actually, that's a protective shell around them. You know what I'm saying? Because whatever happened when they was younger, they put a protective shell around them, and so they can't feel that pain no more of whatever abuse happened or
like a trauma
mentally
response.
trauma response type stuff.
Louaista, We saw this fool in Love and Hip Hop Miami high as a kite and crashed out. We saw him take a pan and smash a TV. We saw him the next day all calm and saying he needed to buy a new TV. He definitely pointed the gun at them all. More recently, Gunplay had begun to engage in the hip-hop interview circuit that rappers tend to find themselves on when the bag is getting a little tight. And while that's not exactly news itself, what is making headlines is that almost every time he does it, there's dirt being thrown on MMG's name.
Everybody was a group effort. When it was Gunplay's turn, it was crickets. I got hit records, nobody's giving me a budget, nobody's doing nothing, so what you want me to fucking do? If you fucking with Ross, you fucking with Gunplay. At the end of the day, I just felt like a slap in the face, you know what I'm saying?
Alongside his annoyance over not getting equitable treatment, Gunplay suggested that he could never get a straight answer as to whose fault it was, even as one of Ross's day ones.
That shit to Ross ever like, yo, what's going on? Knowing you probably have. Of course I did, but then they'll play ping pong. So, oh, Def Jam, it's on Def Jam, and then Def Jam say it's on Fat Boy, and then Fat Boy says something, I'm tired, let me just go ahead on about my business, bro. Nobody want to do nothing, I'll just go ahead on and rob me something, do what I do. do what I do best, then fuck it, that's what y'all want me to do? Fuck it.
Once these comments were made, they did the rounds online, and as everyone started to wade in with their takes, Ross clapped back and said that it was all in fabrication, arguing that it was the parent company that killed him, not Rose himself.
And not laughing at my little bro situation, because I got nothing but love for, but the situation he talking about was saying wasn't no budget and that like that. The distributor had them brought you. They ain't want nothing to do with you. MMG just ain't give you the bad news. We told you just keep working, just keep climbing. Don't stop, don't quit. Yeah, that's how it goes. When they don't want to spend no money on you, ain't no more budgets. You ain't have a manager, none of that. So they ain't tell you. And I ain't want to break your heart. I wish you'd keep hustling. I always say.
But it's fair to say that Ross is not taking this public split opinion. They held you back because they knew you would outshine them. Gunplay understands today that they were not his friends. Ross is a millionaire. He could have paid his homie's budget. Gunplay probably got other things going on that made Ross distance himself. Despite Rose trying to silence the entire situation, Gunplay is refusing to back down or recant any of his statements. If anything, he's actually gotten more animated about it.
I lost the love for the game, man. I lost my passion, bro. Yeah. I don't even know if I want to do this anymore.
You know, you in the crib with a bunch of niggas, we watching World Star, we like, yo, what Gunplay doing? But we like, damn, that nigga nice, like, you know what I mean? It look like he bullshitting.
I can do but so much when I'm asking the labels that I'm signed to, please give me a budget. I'm on the radio on Hot 97. What can I do? Go in there with a fucking bat, play my shit? I'm not asking for shit, but a chance with a hit record in your funky ass city? Why nobody wanna do nothing? Why is it Ross? Why is it Def Jam? Nobody want to do nothing. What can I do as an artist? What more can I do? And still no budget, no nothing. But all I know, I worked, I bust my ass, and when it was time for rolling the hit, it won nothing. And I'm signed to the two biggest labels in the fucking game right then and there, dog. So why the fuck didn't I get my shit? So that's why it's like, it wasn't on me.
And if we know anything about the hip-hop media cycle, you'll know that the situation isn't by any means done yet. After so many of its artists floundered, either through their own poor decision-making or being forced to reside on the shelf, the bottom line is that not only does the MMG name no longer harbor the power it once did, but people forget how big it once was. This has reached such crazy heights that Rick Ross and Meek Mill's reunion project didn't even sell all too well, with combined sales of 31,000, acting as a clear indication of their dwindling star power. This wasn't necessarily Meek Mill's fault either, as Rose's own last album, Richer Than I Ever Been, peaked at number 22 on the charts. Among many of his former label mates struggling, Rose seems to have largely pivoted away from rap, focusing on running his various business deals and bragging about his successes whenever he gets a chance. And while he's still living lavishly, the thing that damages his once mighty label's reputation is that most of the people who pin their hopes and dreams on working with this company are worse off than they were when they started.
It's a sad reality, boy. But really, we'll never know what truly happens. Why is that every time I watch a Louaista video, I'm flipping, like, I just start dozing off, bro. Like, why did I just magically get sleepy whenever this guy's playing? God damn it, boy. Oh well. It's the end of the stream. I mean, yeah, my head's not here, man. That's the end of the video. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe if you stayed to the end that you're hearing me right now. Like, comment, subscribe if you like the way I sleep. Thank you very much. Safety.